Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day, everyone. In this video, I will try to explain to you my paper titled Life Online, the Beast Race on the Land of America. The table of content of this presentation are first, introduction, second, research question, third, discussion, and fourth, conclusion. First is the introduction. Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, the goals that proposed by the United Nations or the UN that become significant and crucial guide in tackling the world problem, as almost every layer of society guide their action within the scope of these goals. Adopted by all United Nations member states, it provides a shared blueprint for people and the planet peace and prosperity now and in the future. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals are at the heart of it, and they are an European call to action by all countries developed and developing in a multilateral framework. The most recent, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, recognized that eradicating poverty and other deprivation must be combined with strategies to improve healthcare and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while addressing climate change and working to protect our ocean and forests. Among other 17 goals, one of them are goals number 15, Life Online. This goal quote that from the United Nations say, protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and resolve land degradation and loss, halt biodiversity loss. In quote, the Sustainable Development Goals number 15 is concerning on how we can protect and manage resources on Earth. The goals help us on how achieving the sustainable use, addressing the problem of equity, intergenerational and intragenerational, and help us on dealing with the problem of the commons and the prolonged effect of climate change. In particular, the goals number 15 become significant goals as the global population is increasing, but our ability to sustain it is deteriorating. We are continuing to lose biodiversity at an unprecedented rate, and with it, the service provided by natural system, and last but not least, we are confronted with the problem of commons and must find a way to cooperation in preserving our environment. One of the concerning issues faced by the world is the declining population of bees. Bees are flying insects that collect nectar and pollen. They are members of the Apidae family. Bees are completely reliant on flower for their food, which consists of pollen and nectar, the latter of which is sometimes modified and stored as honey. There is no doubt that bees and the flower they pollinate evolve at the same time. This little insect in their cycle of life give us much more value than what we can reply. However, with what happened all around the world, like deforestation, rising global temperature, and etc., which resulting on climate change, there is rising concern on the bees population all around the world. In America, Islam, as a prime example from the article released by United States Department of Agriculture, said that birds, bat, butterfly, moth, fly, wasps, beetle, and small mammals, as well as bees and other pollinators, play an important role in their food production system. A healthy pollinator population is necessary for the product of marketable commodities. More than 100 crops grow in the United States rely on pollinators. Pollinators contribute more than $18 billion in revenue to crop production. Pollinators, particularly western honeybees population, are at a critical junction right now. Experts began noticing significant annual decline in honeybee colonies in 26. This decline will contribute in the part to a condition known as colony collapse disorder or CCD, which occur when the majority of our bees in honeybees colonies disappear, leaving behind a queen, abundance of food, and a few nurse bees to care for remaining immature bees. The research question of the paper is why bees population decreasing in the United States of America in the recent years. The discussion, honeybee hive have long provided honey and beeswax to humans. Such commercial use have given rise to a thriving beekeeping industry, despite the fact that many species continue to exist in the wild. Honeybee are all social cooperative insects. Honeybee tribe Apini, also spliced as honeybee, any of a group of insects in the family of Apidae or their Petra that include all bees that makes honey in a broad sense. In a strict sense, the term honeybee refers to any of 7 Apis species, typically one, the single species, Apis mellifera, the domestic honeybee. This species is also known as the European or Western honeybee. Honeybees are all social insects that live in hive or nest. The honeybee is famous for the dancing movement it makes in the hive to communicate information to its fellow bees about the location, distance, size, and the quality of specific food sourced in the surrounding area. The bees classification. The inhabitants of a hive are classified into 3 types. To begin, the worker bees. Workers are the only bees that most people ever seen. These bees are female who not yet developed sexuality. Workers gather food like pollen and nectar from flower and then construct and protect the hive, clean, circulate air by beating their wing and perform variety of other societal functions. The second is the queen bees. The queen bee's job is pretty straightforward. She lays the egg, then that will be swarm the hive next generation of bees. In most hive, there is only one queen. If the queen dies, worker will produce a new queen by feeding one of the female larvae an exclusive diet of royal jelly. The worker is able to develop into a fertile queen thanks to the exiliar. Queen also control the activities of the hive by producing chemical that guide the behavior of the other bees. And then finally, the drones or bees are the third cause of honeybees. Hundreds of drones live in each hive during the spring and summer, but they are expelled during winter months when the hive goes into survival mode, and their job is only to meet with the queen. The importance of bees can be classified into 3 parts, which are food security, sustainable farming and income, and then biodiversity and environmental protection. First, in terms of food security, to feed the world growing population, we need more food than its diverse, balanced, and of high quality in order to ensure human progress and well-being. Bees are well known for their contribution to the production of high quality food like honey, royal jelly, and pollen, as well as other products used in healthcare and other industry like beeswax, propolis, and honeybee venom. However, beeswax entail much more. Bees and other pollination make the most significant contribution by pollinating nearly 3/4 of the plant that produce 90% of the world's food. Bees are responsible for 1/3 of the population food production, which means that pollination is responsible for every third spoonful of our food. Second is the sustainable farming and income. Over the last 50 years, the number of crops that rely on pollinators like fruit, vegetable, seed, nuts, and oilseed has tripled. In terms of agricultural production, bees play an important role. Effective pollination increasing the quality of agricultural product, improving its quality, and strengthen plant pest resistances. Cultivated plants that rely on pollination are a significant source of income for farmers, particularly small farmers and family-owned farms in developing countries. Millions of people are employed and earn a living as a result of them. An international study conducted in 2016 by the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Service estimate that the annual global production of food that is directly dependent on pollination was worth between 235 until $577 billion. And then third, in biodiversity and environmental protection, bees are critical to the conservation of ecological balance and biodiversity in the natural world. They provide one of the most well-known ecosystem services, namely pollination, which is necessary for food production. They protect and maintaining ecosystem as well as animal and plant species and contribute to genetic and biotic diversity in the process. Bees can also be used to assess the state of the environment, their presence, absence, or quantity around us when something is wrong with the environment and prompt us to take appropriate action. It is possible to detect change in the environment and implement necessary precautionary measures by observing and the development and health of the bees. The decline population of bees. Recent reports of bees population decline have put the long-standing mutualistic relationship between bees and humans in jeopardy. There has been loss of managed honeybees colony as well as a decline in wild bee pollinators, particularly in Europe and North America. However, little is known about the conservation status of most bee species. The ISUN, or International Union for Conservation of Nature, assesses the global conservation status of only 483 bee species, the majority of which were data deficient. The European Red List assessment of 1,965 European bee species discovered that 9.2% were threatened, while insufficient data were available to assess the conservation status of nearly 57% of European species. Many of these also been threatened due to the decline in wild bees, definitely noted for Europe and North America being likely to also happen elsewhere. With the decline of bees population, there has been a source of research focusing on the driver of this decline and the implication for ecosystem provisioning. According to preliminary results of the 15th annual nationwide survey conducted by the nonprofit Bee Informed Partnership, or BIP, beekeepers across the United States lost 45.5% of their managed honeybee colonies from April 22 to April 2021. These losses represent the survey's second highest loss rate since it began in 2016. 6.1 percentage point higher than the average annual loss rate of 39.4%. The survey results show that honeybee colony turnover is still at an all-time high. This year's high loss rate was driven by both increasing summer and winter losses, with no discernible improvement for beekeepers and their colonies. Winter's losses were reportedly at 32.2% this year, 9.6 percentage points higher than the previous year and 3.9 points higher than the survey average. And summer losses were among the highest ever reported this year at 31.1%, 0.9 percentage point lower than the previous year, but 8.6 points higher than survey average. The survey required that all beekeeping operations track the survival or turnover rate of their honeybees colonies. This year, 3,347 beekeepers managing 100,092.384 colonies across the country respond to the survey, accounting for roughly 7% of the country estimated 2.71 million managed colonies. This effort aids in keeping a pulse on what is going on with beekeepers in order to determine why high loss persists. This year, the BIP team delivered two versions of the survey to gather different beekeepers in order to gain a better understanding on different management practice that may lead to loss fluctuation. According to the finding, one of the two survey backyard 50 or fewer colonies and sideliner 51 until 500 colonies, beekeeping operations face both similar and distinct challenges from commercial beekeepers managing more than 500 colonies. While parasites like Varroa mites continue to be a major issue for beekeepers of all sizes, queen management may be a factor that contributes to seasonal fashion in colony losses. Researchers have determined that the main cause of this mortality include first Varroa mites or nosema disease and complication with queen bees, and then the viral infection in Europe, and then the misuse of plant protection products in modern farming and their potential impact on pollinators, particularly plant protection products in the Neoceotionis classification, whose harmful effect on bees has been thoroughly documented. And then the third one is the new pest, which spread faster around the world. And then the fourth one is urbanization, which reduce agricultural space. And then the fifth are the climate change that really happening all around the world right now, not only in America. And then the last but not least is the global trade in low quality of honey, all of which have an impact on the beekeeping economy. And then the next is conclusion. The Sustainable Development Goal, or SDGs, as the shared blueprint for people and the planet's peace and prosperity now and in the future. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, are at the heart of it, and they are an urgent call to action by all countries developed and developing in a multilateral framework. This paper focused more on the goals 15 Life Online, which state to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of the terrestrial ecosystem, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification and halt, and resource land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. The main issue of this paper explained on the issue of the decreasing base population, especially in the United States of America. Survey conducted by P-Informed Partnership, or PIP, estimate that the total loss from April 1st, 22 until April 1st, 2021 are 45.5% losses, with variant reason behind it, like variotamids, nosema disease, which is killing the green bees as a #1 factors, and also climate change, in which, under the SDGs 515 Life Online, this issue becoming one of the urgent matter, as in fact the issues listed in the SDGs are changed. In order to save the bees, simple action can help to restore and protect the world peace, such as ban most dangerous pesticides, volunteer help should be protected by preserving wild habitat, and ecological agriculture should be restored. A small action can help impact bigger result in the future. This small action to save the bees can help make a better world for them for the future. That's all the video explanation from me. Thank you, and then wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.